Hello, and here we are again, another week trying to get the Airstream done. So, situation is like this currently. Anyhow, situation is this: the guy that's been working on the Airstream basically should have been finished last week Monday. But as I mentioned, there was an issue with the oil pump. So he said that he was going to fix that, and we confirmed a price. So he wanted to extend the time period on the vehicle. So I asked him to, I mean, I looked at what it was 2 to 6 hours to do the work, and you don't have to drop the engine. So I said to him, well, I went there on the Thursday last week. It's now Thursday today, and I went there, and basically I said, look, it's an extra 8 hours, so you can do it on Monday. Well, the guy, I was obviously sorry, this is all pretty frustrating. The guy said that he wouldn't be able to get it done Monday because he doesn't work the weekend. So when I got there, he found out the oil pump what needed replacing. I got it to him on the Tuesday. I went there on the Thursday. All that he seemed to have had was a winch to lift up the engine, not to pull it. And he had everything that he needed, which I promised him I would give him. So anyway, he says no, he can't do it. So he says, like, I need a week. So I said to him, when will you be putting in the oil pump? Because he's like, oh, well, there may be bits in the bottom of the engine, and then, that would mean the engine screwed, which I don't believe so. And he said, oh, I'll be pulling the engine today. Putting the oil pump in today or tomorrow, which was basically, that was Thursday. So, at the latest Friday. So anyhow, I sent him a message on the Friday. Can you send me a picture? I need you to send me a picture of the oil pump being fitted, So I contacted him, and at first he didn't answer, which is okay. I understand he's busy, he's got a garage and so on. And asked him, can he, can he send me a picture of the oil pump when it's fitted? So I kind of like waiting. I didn't get any picture on the Friday. So it gets to about 1 o'clock on the Monday, and I'm like, I didn't get any. I sent him a text. I said, I didn't get any. I've not got any pictures of the fuel pump. And then he's just like, I'll do it when I do it, this and that. And I was like, well, okay, well, I will take the Airstream away from you. And he kind of left the conversation that he's going to, he's on the job, he's doing it, right? So that's Monday, right? So Wednesday, sent him a message. I hope that you're a lot further than where you are. I'm going to come on Thursday and inspect what you've done, and I'm hoping it's a lot further along. So no response from that message. So here I am right now. I'm heading to the Airstream, and I've got no idea what to expect. I don't know if he's done anything. I don't know if he's done nothing. But I'm certainly a little bit concerned that the guy's actually done nothing. So I don't know. But I'm probably right now, I'm probably about 15 minutes away from the place. So yeah, I'm definitely going to find out if he's done the work, or we're going to have a huge problem, because I kind of feel like I should be maybe taking it away to somewhere else if he's not done it, because I think he's just being an arsehole, to be honest. But I could be wrong. Benefit of the doubt, maybe. I mean, keep in mind, everybody, I've paid this guy already to do this work, which is obviously a mistake. So it's not like he's doing it for free, and I also paid for all the parts that went into the engine. So yeah, so I guess I'm going to find out what the situation is when I get there. So I'll film it and let's see what happens. But I really don't know what situation I'm going into. See you at the Airstream. I don't know. I'm going to ask him in a minute what he's done. Seems to be some wiring work and we'll see. Just looking at the engine now, we're just explaining. So basically the oil pump was not pushing oil in, and he's just explaining how that works. How does that work exactly?
Well, when the oil pump is spinning, connected to the distributor, that oil pump will pick up that oil and shoot it out of these little tiny holes in the push rods. And those tiny holes, when they're like this and they're dry, it means no oil's been coming up. Right. And we caught that before putting the motor all back together. So we're going to lift it up, drop the oil pan, replace the oil pump with a new one. Then we're going to prime it again. We're going to stick a drill right there on the end of the oil pump, and we're going to watch oil shoot out of these
So the oil
holes.
pump is the only thing that creates that scenario, right? It's nothing else that does that.
Correct.
It's just the oil pump, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so that's what we need to do.
Well, see, the oil pump has a rod that mates up to this spline right here.
Right.
And as the cam turns the distributor, it also turns the oil pump.
Okay. And so that's what it is. So you think basically this project was basically somebody was a DIY.
somebody got overwhelmed with this, but they knew the basics. They knew to rebuild the motor, which they did. It's a good job. I won't know till I get the valves adjusted and I get it running. But when we prime the engine, which you're supposed to do on all new builds, when you prime that engine, you're supposed to watch oil come through and lubricate everything before startup, because you don't want a dry startup.
Okay. So you think that, but what do they do in the dashboard? Let's just have a little look at the wires behind the dashboard.
Well, the rats have done most of the
pull
work
it out so we
for
can
us.
see the rat nest. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the wiring itself is a rat's nest, but
But isn't it supposed to look like a rat's nest like that? What
Sure.
wires do you see?
But it's not supposed to have little bits and pieces from eggs and feathers and everything they've been
No.
eating.
No. But
There's just all kind of stuff going on back here.
So what wires do you think he's actually put in there then? What have you seen that's been
Most
added?
all of them. Every single
All
one.
of these are added?
Yeah, most all of them have been tampered with, cut, spliced into, or added.
Huh.
And half of this.
I bet there's no rats in there now.
No, they've long been gone. I bet half of this, okay, is original. The other half was added.
Right, and then you notice this thing about this here, which says
Yeah, glow plug. So
which-
it did at one time either have a diesel or this was an option for a diesel.
right. So, but the generator we've got is does the generator runs on the same tank as the vehicle, right?
Correct.
Which is really good. That's handy.
Yes.
And then we've got this little part here. What did they do with the key
Yeah,
thing?
that goes to the ignition switch. That is the face trim.
So it's supposed to.
Supposed to go on here and then screw down, and this goes behind the dash like that. But the threads on this are bad, so
I need a new. I'll speak to Airstream in Greensboro for that.
yeah, we have to get another one because this thing you spin it all day long. And
What
it
about
just come
these
right
other
off.
things? Because while I make an order, it would be good to. It'll be good to make an order. Is there any of those bulbs that you see blown out? They're just standard bulbs, aren't they?
It would, yeah, they're just standard P bulbs, but most of what I could see is they were good. We won't know, even though they look good and the filament looks good, everything looks new, we won't actually know till we can send power to it.
Right, and then where you've got what you said the rat set some of the radio wires.
Yes,
Which ones
I've got
Have
those.
you fixed them already?
Well, I've got them secured enough to where they're not going to touch anything, but I do need to replace them.
And then you said there was a problem with the heat, the high and low.
Well, it's just the switch. They've jacked rigged this thing with some sheet metal screws, and so I've got to take those out. They've probably goobered up the threads, so I've got to see what other screws I can fit in here that are not coarse thread. We really need machine screws. That's what's going to hold it in place.
Yeah.
But this power wire right here, they've chewed through the back here. You'll see with the yellow tape, they've chewed through that, and so I just put some tape on it to cover it so it wouldn't touch anything until I get a chance to replace it.
So the program is get the oil pump in today or tomorrow, but get the engine turning over by tomorrow and let it run.
Ideally, yes. Ideally, we're going to have the oil pump in by end of day tomorrow and be able to crank this thing up without a dry start. I want to see oil come up through here. Then we can start putting it back together, get it in time, and get to...
And let's just go
Get the
outside for a
antifreeze
second
cooling.
and take a look at the generator we just discussed.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, come with me. I want you to just talk about it for a
But I
second.
really don't want to.
Yeah, I know, but that's TV. So what's all this here? Weren't you straightening that out the other day?
Nah, you don't need that.
That's the AC unit, isn't it?
No, that's actually a aftermarket transmission fluid cooler. Which
Right. So why was it there?
yours actually goes into the radio. This is put on aftermarket. We're going to, I mean,
What's it? Is it?
here's the thing though. You don't necessarily need it unless there was a known transmission issue with cooling down, or if it was slipping gears while this thing was running. We won't know actually till we get it
So
going.
if you do, then you're gonna have to put it back in.
Yes.
And then okay.
We're going to put it on most likely.
And here we've got the pan here. So you put that on. That's the fuel pump, right?
Right. That is
And
brand new fuel
then
pump.
and then you've got your that's the tray, isn't it? The
Yeah, that's the oil pan that we've
Just
got
there.
down. But in most all vehicles, when you drop the oil pan, there's a good likelihood that you're going to have to lift the motor up to get the oil pan out. And it's been on fire once or twice. So there's a good chance that we will not use that.
What does that do?
Well, what it does basically is it stores power for startup on items like the generator. Not so much starting the vehicle, but also that keeps power stored for the hydraulics on this thing, lifting it up and down.
So should I replace that? Should I buy a new one?
Yes.
Do you know which one I need to get?
No, but I'll take that one off so you can match it up.
All right. Well, if we can. So we're looking at the generator now, and so on this particular generator there is no. I've seen on some of the other Airstreams you can see how many hours it's run.
Yeah,
this we can find it.
Normally would have a odometer right here, and but this one doesn't have it. It was either built before they started that, or it was an option.
So you were mentioning about the pegs at the back that somebody done.
Yeah, they've got clothespins on the fuel line, either to stop the flow of gas.
Just here,
because whenever you store something for a while, you don't want gas to be.
What do you think that is? They're just. What do you see?
Looking behind it, everything looks good. Nothing looks burnt. So I don't believe there's any reason whatsoever.
Well, they said this is an electric startup, so it runs off a battery. Then
it is electric start. You've got your solenoid right here. You've got your start button right here. You got
right.
Start
So what
stop.
we got to do though? We've got to clean the filter. You said.
Yeah, clean the filter. I want to make sure that the fuel lines are completely empty and or filled with new gas versus what we know to be in the lines.
Okay. And what kind of power do you say this one was?
12 volt.
Okay.
12 volt to 120.
Is that good?
Well, it's what you want if you want to run any kind of appliances inside.
Right, so it's not going to struggle.
No. This is a fair enough, good enough generator. And a Kohler's a super good name, super good generator.
Well, I'm assuming it's not being used much.
It's just making sure that there's no old gas in it. That's the main thing.
Right.
We're going to pull the plugs, make sure they're good, clean them up, put them back in.
And then we've got.
I don't foresee an issue.
And then basically, when we do this, what you're going to do with the paint, you're going to just take this off and.
Yeah, we're going to use an eraser wheel. Although it's so dry rot, the eraser wheel may not even work.
You might be able to do it
with
like a wall,
sand it off.
like a wallpaper thing. Just.
Well,
with a plastic one.
Not really, because this thing, from sitting in the heat for so many years, this stuff just falls off. So it may come off.
Will you use a one paint, like a gloss with it, or like a? Will it be a?
Well, it'll be a single stage, so the gloss will be in the paint.
And will that withstand better to the heat than the original paint that was put on it?
Well, the original paint that was put on it is always better, and it's still on to this day, with the exception of the front end. But the paint that we're putting on it should last you an extra 5 or 10 years at least. Right,
and then we've got here on the bumper. So as you can see, probably if anybody's got one of these, they'll notice that this is like was it like a fiberglass or something? So I mean, that must have been a big job putting that piece on there, because that looks like really new compared to everything else. Is there two of those? Is there one on each side?
What are you talking about?
The grey metal thing there with the blue thing on the top.
Oh yeah, those are your heads. Yeah, there's another.
Did they change the heads on both sides?
It looks like they had head work done. They don't look like new heads.
Is that extensive?
Been painted,
Is that extensive?
Extensive? To a degree, yes, it can be.
Yeah. Well,
putting heads on are fairly straightforward, but
it takes time.
It's a good thing that he didn't do this and try to start it up, because had the motor started up and he run it, it would have blown up.
Now, I notice on these wheels here, it's very rusty. What do you do? Do you because wouldn't that create the belt to snap with that grit on it?
Yeah, we just take a wire brush to them and clean them up, put a little bit of black paint on them so that they don't do any damage to the belts and don't cause you to change belts. faults too often.
Right. And then we've got the situation over here. We've got this drawer where the battery goes. That's pretty straightforward. You can do that. But then over here we have a slight little problem with this one, don't we?
Yeah, that drawer didn't seem to want to come out. Even using a pry bar, it just.
So is it matter that you got to open that bit up there and take the bit so it's not jamming it? Because I think that just lifts up. You can get to it.
You mean take the floor up so we
No,
can get to
no. The seat.
What are you talking about?
Let me show you. Because I think there's a much easier way than crowbarring it.
Yeah, I don't.
Let me show.
So
Let me
from the inside.
No, because I can. When you look in there, you can see the carpet. Right. So.
No, they've.
I'm assuming. Does that drawer open? Oh, there you go. What's that?
This looks like your water supply.
So that's your water tank. And what is that?
Yeah, that.
What is that? Looks like some form of pump, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a pump.
For what? Is that the hydraulic
Most
pump?
likely to pump out the water so that you got water pressure in your shower.
Is that what that is?
I guarantee it.
Right.
Because there's your water filter.
Okay.
There's another water filter.
Oh, is that?
You
Yeah.
got two pumps there. You may have a pump in and a pump out. Who knows?
Right. So let me just look. So yeah, we're gonna have to work out a way to get that door open, aren't we? I mean, what is it? Jammed on something?
The metal is so rusted that I don't know. I don't know if it's rusted together, if it's rusted in
It opened.
there.
I remember
I
looking.
almost have to cut out the drawer, let the door fall open, and then try to get the drawer out. But I haven't messed with that yet. That's on the agenda for after the oil.
And what's this then? Is this power when you shift? That's main power, is it? What's that say on there?
No, that's water.
Oh, that's your water thing.
Yep.
And this is your external, for your external power, your lights, your
There's
barbecue.
water going in.
This is your barbecue, your electric barbecue, whatever. Yeah, that's if you want to have lights outside.
Yeah.
This one's okay, but what happens is they rust.
Yeah, this
I've got
piece
that.
right here.
I've already got it. I've all got that. So, okay, so what do we expect to see by this time next week?
This time next week, we ought to have the motor running and dash done. We should be able to drive it up to the building and get started on the paint. The main thing is getting it from here to over there. Ideally, we would need a shop big enough for one of these. But
Can we take that out? Because I feel like we're going to need that. Can we just unbolt it and let me take it with me so I can get it? I'll buy a new one.
Yeah.
If we pull that out now, I'll have one by next week. That's your water pump, right? Now, what about this?
That's your windshield wiper.
What about this thing? Have you got? Can these be replaced? Because this thing's falling to pieces. Is that standard?
That's just the outside casing. That actually should be just fine. But we'll know if it works whenever we power it up. These right here are not hooked up, but they are water warmers. You have a heating element in here that heats up the windshield washer fluid.
Oh, so if you're in a cold area, it doesn't freeze.
Yeah, so it doesn't freeze on your windshield. This is a pump. It's probably rusted to hell. So yeah, but it'll come. This pump.
Can you replace that with just a normal pump?
I don't know if you can just replace this or if it comes with the reservoir. Because this thing is riveted to it. I mean, I can take the screws out.
Is it possible just to take that off and put a new water pump on it?
As long as there's a pump on it.
I mean, as long as it fits to that, basically, right? And it gets power.
Well, that's not going to be difficult, but You can get one through Airstream.
I'll ask. Okay. So we're just taking that off now. Is that it? Oh, is it supposed to come out like that?
Yeah. No.
Oh, so it's basically the celluloid around it. It's all burnt.
Yeah. This thing is toasted.
God. And that stores power, so that's like a battery, is it?
I believe so. Not so much. Whenever I thought there were 2 connections, that would have been a capacitor. A 3, and it's a switch between batteries.
So in that case, if that ain't working, it's easy to say that the power won't go through to the next level, right?
This is a
Is it not just easy just to pull it out and I take it with me?
yeah. Well, this is called so you can ask for the right thing.
I'm going to be on
It's
the
a
phone.
battery isolator.
Okay. Battery, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to need that.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
You said that you thought that goes through to the height for the lifting. Are you not sure?
I'm not entirely sure yet. And I know I'm using the wrong tools, but it's what I have at the moment. Strong enough to get these rusted bolts off. We should be able to pick one of these up just about anywhere.
Yeah, I'll ring Airstream, see what they say. I don't want to be not having it right, you know? The thing is, with here, everything dries up, like super dry. So everything gets crispy, you know? In Europe, it kind of rots, you know?
Oh yeah.
Here it just gets, because it's so damp. But here, everything just gets dried out.
Well, we're in a more humid climate on the East Coast. Okay.
You know, you're going to need a sprocket to get that out, aren't you?
What's that?
A sprocket.
No, I'm gonna use a socket.
Do you think I should order one of these pumps anyway?
Would get one exactly like this.
But I'm
Likely
talking
from
about the
Airstream.
motor in the engine. Do you think it's not the same motor that the Airstream came with? Or are you thinking it's...
We don't know. How fast you think you want to go in an RV?
How fast do you think that engine, what's the top capacity of that in this, do you think?
About 85 mile an hour.
Oh, that's fast enough.
Most places. Take it on the autobahn, so you'll be fine.
So what's your background as a mechanic? Where did you start?
I've been doing this since last week.
So how long have you been doing it now?
For mechanic work